nothing like a funeral to make you feel alive. Just open your eyes.
Well, hopefully you guys can hear me over my 8,000 RPM engine right now. I'm in 6th gear, believe it or not. 6th gear at 75 at 8,000 RPM. And the reason for that is my -1+2 sprockets that I put on with my new chain, my green chain. Insert picture now. That sexy thing. People have been messaging me pretty much non-stop since I did the unboxing video of my my sprockets and my chain and stuff like that. And they've been asking me, you know, how do you like it? Is the torque increase worth it? You know, stuff like that, because, you know, whenever you install acceleration sprockets or an acceleration kit, stuff like that, you lose quite a bit of top end speed depending on how many teeth you're doing on your sprockets. But so they're asking me, you know, is it worth it to lose the top speed to gain the acceleration, stuff like that. It depends on what you feel. For instance, it just got a lot brighter, by the way. For instance, if you're one of those guys that's constantly relying on his bike plus 110 miles per hour or something like that, like you like that speed rush, you know, you're like, yeah, I can do, you know, 150, 160 on my 600, you know, when it's topped out, and that's the most exhilarating thing I've ever felt in my life, then probably not a good thing for you, considering how you like to risk your life at above 150 miles per hour every day. But if you're the kind of guy that wants more low-end and mid-range power, or you're the kind of guy that likes the feeling of acceleration more than the feeling of top speed, like you like the feeling of your arms being pulled off more than the feeling of a buttload of wind coming at your face, then it's definitely worth it. Especially if you're going to be a stunt rider, you know, stuff like that. I don't condone doing wheelies on the highway and all that kind of junk, but if you want to do that kind of stuff, then it'll definitely help you out. It'll definitely get the front wheel up a lot easier. But it's not, I don't even know. I don't really know what to say, because just to put you, for instance here, it brings my top speed on my bike from 168 down to about 140. Okay, so that's about a 28 mile per hour top speed loss. However, I get torque that I used to get at about 7,000 RPM in my power band down at about 4,000 RPM. So I can be in 6th gear doing like 45 and still get the same amount of torque as I used to do doing like 3rd gear at 45 or 3rd gear at 50. It's the same torque pretty much. So I'm one of those guys that likes the acceleration feeling more than the feeling of top speed itself. You know, I like to be able to just give it a quick twist of my throttle like this and have my bike just take off, not just go like what, but it just goes bang, you know, and just keeps going. That probably sounded really stupid, but also hurt my throat a little bit. But anyway, so is it worth it for that point? Yes. It gives you much more torque, much more usable torque also. so you're not constantly having to downshift. Like, you know, you're coming up to a corner on your stock 600, you're in third gear doing about 45, you know, you're coming up to a corner, it's a 90-degree corner, advisory speed limit is 20 miles per hour, so something like that. Normally you go downshift into first, or at least the low part of second. I mean, you downshift into first or so, you know, up and around in your power band, so that you have the necessary torque to get yourself through the turn without, you know, either spinning the back wheel loose or not having enough torque to pick the bike back up, or, you know, something like that. And so on this bike, instead of dropping down to first, you can literally take a 20-mile-per-hour corner in third gear, and then whenever you come out, you'll still have plenty of torque. Like, I'll try to give you an example somewhere. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Oh, I know where I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'll try to give you an example up here of what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I mean, you get much more usable torque, you know. And how often? Here was my biggest selling point. I was like, do I really want to risk the top speed on my bike to get, you know, some acceleration and torque, you know, stuff like that? Biggest thing on my bike is, when are you going to, or how many times are you going to be going down the road doing 140 plus on your bike? How many times have you done that already? Maybe in a year, about 5 to 10, depending on how daredevilish you are. Right here though, unless this guy blocks me from doing it. So normally I would go through here in first gear or whatever. Nah, he's gonna block me from doing it, crap. Dude, you don't need to stop. There's nobody coming. Alright, never mind. Well, that didn't work out as planned. Let's turn around and try it again. Alright, let's turn around and try this again. So I'll take this turn in third gear. So third gear at 30. This is not something you normally do on a stock 600. So I'm going to take this, and we'll watch my torque when I come out of this turn. Look at that. Look at that. Okay? Did you see that torque in third gear from like 25 miles per hour? You could never do a third gear in 25 mile per hour corner on a stock 600 and get that much confidence and torque coming out of the turner, okay? But anyway, back to my other point. How many times have you done plus 140 on your bike on a public road in the past, you know, year? You know, 5 to 10 based on how many, or based on what state you live in, based on what area, and based on how gutsy you are. You know, how many times are you going to use the low to mid-range torque in your power band if you change the sprockets? Every single stoplight, every single stop sign, every single straightaway, every single corner, every single road, you will use that torque that you gain. So, seems pretty obvious to me which one's more useful. So all you have to do is convince yourself, hey, I don't need that extra 28 miles per hour on top of 140, alright? Plus, you know, you need a speedo healer, and whenever you install your speedo healer, you're going to be like, oh, I was doing, here's another example. Third gear, going into the turn, coming out of the turn at 35, and there's a cop, never mind, but okay, so, yeah, I mean, how many times are you going to use that plus 24 extra miles per hour, you know, and when you actually get a speedo healer installed, you're going to be like, oh, my 150 was really only 137. I don't know. So you probably reached 140 way less times than you've actually thought, okay? That's also the difference here. My 168, that was my previous top speed, was the top speed on a stock bike, blah blah blah. You know, down here, now that I have the actual speedometer installed or whatever, I'm reaching a real 140 if I were to top it out. Okay, it's a real 140. It's not indicated plus or minus 11% 140. Okay, so yeah, so that's another way to look at it. You're not losing as much as you actually think you are. So, and then the amount of torque in first gear is just unbelievable. So yeah, I actually have yet to ever on my bike right here ever open my throttle 100% in first gear from a takeoff. And I'm not talking about like literally you drop the clutch and go literally 100%, but I mean like from about 15 miles per hour, I've never had my throttle 100% open. Okay, so I honestly don't even know the 100% torque that I have in first gear because I've never tried it. But I can already tell you, I mean, just simply because I've never done it, so I'm comparing the same throttle to the same throttle. I'm not going like, oh, well, whenever it was stock Sprockets, I didn't open it up all the way, and now that it is in stock Sprockets, I am opening it up all the way, so I can feel the torque difference, you know, because that'd just be like comparing two different things together. It's not comparing the same throttle response, not comparing all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Getting into the last point that I have, somebody asked me about the gas mileage change that comes with the stock Sprockets versus the upgraded Sprockets, the acceleration Sprockets. Because you think about it, faster acceleration, more torque, higher RPMs constantly, that's going to waste gas. I mean, it's going to do it. It's going to waste gas. So, how much gas? That's the question. How much gas? Well, on my normal riding day with my stock Sprockets, I would get up to about 130 to 135 miles before my gas indicator light would come on, telling me that I have like 25 or 30 miles left before I have to get out of gas or whatever. So, and that was with, you know, the occasional opening up of the throttle a little bit too much. And I'm never easy on my accelerations unless I'm in traffic. So all of my accelerations in first gear, 45 plus miles per hour unless I'm in traffic. And it's a quick 45 plus. It's not like a shift. You know, it's like a shift. You know, stuff like that. So it's a fast 45. And so that's including both of those, and I got 130 to 135 miles before my fuel light would come on. Now, with the new Sprockets, the -1 +2 Sprockets, minus 28 top speed miles per hour, and plus a crap load of torque and acceleration power and high RPMs, another top. My first day riding, I got a brand new tank of gas before I went out on my ride, and I rode all day, plus 150 miles in a day, and my first tank of gas consisted of me completely abusing my new torque and acceleration. I mean, I was ripping the crap out of my acceleration everywhere. Like everywhere I went, it was just open throttle, open throttle, open throttle, you know, like everywhere. So I was not taking it lightly on the acceleration. I didn't do any like real top speed runs or anything, you know. I opened it up farther than I should have, you know, once or twice. I love everyone staring at me because they just see this big blob of like neon green everywhere. But anyway, so, you know, I didn't open it up, you know, that much or whatever, but I definitely didn't take it anywhere even close to easy on my gas tank. And so, oh, here's a fire truck coming. But anyway, so, yeah, I didn't do any of that. And my, hold on, These guys are going to distract me. Okay, so now that the Doppler effect has taken place, if you don't know what the Doppler effect is, go Google it. It's pretty interesting scientific stuff from physics. Anyway, my first gas tank, including all of that thrashing of the acceleration and twisty roads, and I did an equal amount of highway riding at 70-75 miles per hour, which is 8 to 8,500 RPM in 6th gear on my bike. Plus I did some stop and go, rush hour traffic, stuff like that. With all that, I got 124 miles before my fuel light came on. So that's 6 miles, only 6 miles less than my stock Sprockets per tank. Plus, I completely destroyed my bike with acceleration like this, pretty much. This is what my first day consisted of. Oh, we're at the speed limit? Okay, it's shifted to 6th. That's what my first day was, okay? So, now you can imagine all of that all day, everywhere, and I only got 6 miles less than my standard on a stock Sprocket setup. Okay, so if I do a normal, like if I do the same standard, don't pull out, okay. If I do the same standard riding that I would do on, like, you know, like a normal day, normal tank or whatever, with my new Sprockets on, my guess is I probably might lose a mile or a mile and a half per tank, which is insane. Because whenever I bought them, I knew that I was going to lose gas mileage because of the high RPMs and all that kind of good stuff. I knew I was going to lose the gas mileage, but I was expecting, instead of 124, I was expecting to get like 110 per tank before my light came on. So whenever I passed 110, like I'll tell you what, the first day that I was riding with them, I was even worried when my trip meter got to 90 miles. It got to 90 and I kept constantly looking for my fuel light to be coming on. So that shows you how much faith I had in the new Sprockets for gas mileage. But then, you know, it climbed past 90, went into the 100, you know, climbed past 105, past 110, past 115, past 120, and I was absolutely shocked that my gas had not run out to the point of my fuel light coming on yet. So for all y'all that are worried, like, well, man, you know, I don't want to risk the change in gas mileage because I've heard it's pretty bad once you put on the new Sprockets or whatever. Dude, it's gonna be like a 20-cent difference, or maybe a 15-cent difference per tank, if that, if you change your Sprockets. So it's nothing, okay? So yeah, that's basically my review on my new Sprockets. Would I recommend them? Good God, yes I would, for a 600. For a 1000, I think that'd be complete overkill, because you'd be, you know, just accelerating casually, and your front wheel would be coming off the ground, like, constantly. So, for a 1000, I do not recommend it. For just another, I guess, kind of opinion, Ms. Shift on his CBR 1000 has stock gearing, and I asked him the other day, I was like, does your CBR 1000 scare you anymore? Like, does it scare you at all anymore? He was like, no, not really. And then I asked you, I was like, does any bike scare you anymore? He's like, my friend ZX10R. And I was like, well, why is that? And he's like, because he has -1 +2 sprockets on it, or he has acceleration sprockets on it, blah blah blah. And so if it scares Ms. Shift, and he does constant stand-up wheelies and, you know, 160, 170 plus miles per hour runs, and it scares him, then it's got to be really freaking scary. But for a 600, definitely recommend it. unless you're the kind of guy that's constantly above 150 miles per hour and take pride in that. I don't know, you're just going to kill yourself. If you're Ghost Rider, you probably don't want it. But if you're not Ghost Rider and you actually aren't going to reach that speed like a normal human being, then I definitely recommend it, and you will enjoy the massive amounts of torque that you gain, and you will be very happy not having to worry about shifting in corners, you know, stuff like that. So definitely a thumbs up on the -1+2 sprockets for a 600. In case you are wondering and you haven't seen yet, I got a Renthal rear sprocket and a Renthal front sprocket. My front sprocket has 14 teeth and my rear sprocket has 45 teeth now. So Renthal for both of those. And then my new chain is a Volar Motorsports chain, VOLAR Motorsports. And I got the green chain. They just make colored chains. It's a green 520 O-ring chain. So definitely recommend it. And if you guys decide to do it, then power to you. And I really hope you like it as much as I do, because I'm trying to persuade Brandon to change his sprocket setup now. I'm going to try to persuade him to do it so we can be sprocket acceleration buddies. So, yep, that is it, people. I know this vlog and my other vlog have been quite long. I'm not sure if I've uploaded my other vlog before this one or not yet, but if I have, then you know which one I'm talking about. And that's about it, guys. Deuces.